Oh, hello and welcome to the English Matura Express, the express to your success. My name is Maria and today we are going to talk about the monologue introduction. Hello and welcome back. Today's topic is analyzing the situation and how to give a monologue introduction. So basically it's all about the monologue today. Good, so what's the content of today's stream? So first of all, I will give you an overview of the monologue task. So we will have a look at an actual exam. And then I will tell you how to analyze the role play situation. Then you will get an overview of the structure for a monologue. So what is important to mention and are there some different parts? There are. And then you get some useful phrases for a monologue introduction. And at the end, I will demonstrate you one monologue introduction. So let's start. No, let's start with the mock exam because I will show it to you right now, the demonstration exam. So that's how a demonstration exam looks. That's how it looks. Good. So we have the introduction, but that's not the topic for today. And then we have task 1. So there we have the monologue. And there is always a situation. And that's the interesting part because when there's a situation, it's some sort of role play. So you are not, I don't know, Stephanie or Maria, but you are an hotel owner in this case. So that's the role play. And yeah, so there's a situation and that's why it's some sort of role play. So you have to act and good. So yeah, that's where it's interesting to analyze. Yeah, but now let's do that. I'm sorry. Let's go back. Why isn't it working? Good, so now let's see how to analyze the role play situation because I showed you the situation so that there is some sort of situation, so there is some role play going on, and now I will tell you how to analyze it and what's important to look at. Good, so the first thing which is important is in which role are you? So who am I? Am I an expert? Am I a dietitian when it's about food? Or am I a hotel owner? So who am I? Then who is your audience? So to whom am I talking? To a group of experts as well, to my colleagues, to some students. So that's all important when it comes to how to open your monologue, because you can't open a monologue where you talk to your, I don't know, work colleagues and you start like dear students. So that makes no sense. So that's very important to look at. And then number 3, what is the subject of my speech? So what are you talking about? What is the aim? So what's the topic, the overall topic, the focus of it? And number 4, which type of situation are you in? Is it a presentation? Is it a speech? Do you need to convince someone, or do you make advertising for a new product? So what's the situation? Good. So now I will give you a short overview of the structure for a monologue, because that's also very important when preparing a monologue. So first of all, there is the introduction. I will give you in a few minutes some useful phrases for that, as it's the main focus of our stream today. So the introduction, it's very important to talk about who am I and what is my aim. So that's basically it. But of course you can do it creatively, and I will show you in a few seconds. Then there is the main part of the monologue, and there you have the 3 bullet points, so talk about them. And it's also very important to have a clear structure. I mean, so there are 3 bullet points, so try to really talk about all of them and also try to make a a structured and a clear transition. So start with the first one, and then, for example, you can say like, now let's move on to the second one. It's also very important to give examples to emphasize your arguments. So it's better to just talk about some points, but really have some good examples for it. So explain your points, and don't only list things, list many things that you've learned. I mean, that's good. It's good when you start it and when you are well prepared, but also try to explain the points. Good, and also try to address the audience. I mean, it's a speech and it's just you talking, but you can, of course, ask some rhetorical questions. And then there is the closing, the conclusion. So in the conclusion, you should kind of sum up your speech. There it says nothing. So, but here it is. I'm sorry. There it says summarize your key points, which I think is sometimes really difficult to do, because then you tend to repeat the things you've already said, and that's not really great, because then you tend to make mistakes because you tend to make repetitions, and that's not really great. So I would just sum your whole speech up in about one sentence. So for example, I hope now you know some more things about advertisement and its benefits, and then that's it. And maybe some thanking at the end. That's always great. So just say thank you, or it was an honor to talk here today, and if you have any questions, just feel free to answer. So that's very important. I think it's very important to have a closing, but you don't really need to summarize all of it. But a closing is definitely needed, because sometimes students just at the end they just stare because they don't know what to add, and then as an examiner you have to say like, okay, that's it, and that's not really good. So it's better when you just say, yeah, that's it, and thank you for your attention. Good. So now let's focus on the structure of a monologue introduction. So first of all, we talked about, okay, who am I? So now it's good to introduce yourself, because now you know who you are. So you're an expert, an hotel owner, whatever. And so introduce yourself with name and what you do. Then try to catch the attention of the audience. I mean, it's only a 4-minute speech, but really try to think of something catchier than hello. Yeah, so maybe you can think of something like that, of something different. Then yeah, you can also be creative there, and because it makes a really good first impression. And maybe you also know it when you listen to a speech or presentation. I think it's always quite interesting when they have like a good opening to it, because in between that's fine, but the opening should be good, and the end. Yeah, so maybe ask a question, mention a current example or a quote or a joke. But yeah, I know it's an exam, so probably it's not the best time to joke and to think about jokes, but maybe you have some, you know some. And also then tell the audience what you are going to talk about. So give it a structure right from the beginning. That would be good. Good, here are some useful phrases for the monologue introduction. Again, first of all, we have the greeting. So good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, dear students, dear colleagues, whatever. Then something you can always say, it's an honor to speak to all of you today. Attention, it's honor, it's not honor. You don't hear the H. And then introducing yourself, which is the next point. So let me introduce yourself, or my name is Maria, and I'm an expert on healthy diets or whatever. I'm not, but yeah, and whatever. Good, and then tell what you are going to talk about, so the subject and topic and or the purpose of your presentation. So I have been asked by the Olympic Committee to talk about doping today or whatever. And today I'm going to talk about that. Or today I would like to inform you about blah, blah, blah. And then you can also think about what I already mentioned about a catchy phrase, for example, or a shocking fact. For example, nowadays obesity has become one of the most frequent causes for cancer or other diseases. So that's quite shocking, and that's what I think is a good start. Or just a quote, for example, "You are what you eat. Do you agree?" Or whatever. So maybe try to be creative. You can really practice that. So just take some mock exams or demonstration exams you have and try to think of a good opening. And it's just the first 4 sentences. And I think that's very easy to prepare, but it really makes a good impression. Good, and now let's practice one. So here we have this exam again about holidays in Austria. So let's have a look at the situation. Being a hotel owner in a tourist spot in Austria, you have been invited to represent Austria as a holiday destination at a global tourism conference in London. So, and then we have the task with the bullet points, but that's not really interesting for now because now it's about the introduction. Good. So, first step, who am I? So I am a hotel owner in a tourist spot in Austria. So the first thing I do now is, okay, so where is it? I mean, you can think about it. So maybe what's a tourist spot? Kitzbühel. Yeah, so I'm a hotel owner in Kitzbühel and I have been invited to represent Austria. Okay, so I have to represent it. So that's also very interesting to know because now I have to kind of talk about the good sides of it, probably because I want to represent it and I'm a hotel owner, so I want people to come and visit Austria, especially my hotel. And where is it? It's a global tourism conference in London. Okay, so step 2, or is it step 3? Now we have to find, okay, so to whom am I talking? Of course, to the examination board and to my examiner, but he or she is a person at the Global Tourism Conference. So a person which is also aware of tourism. So that are some things you have to think about when starting or when giving your introduction. So let's do it. I will just act it out. Okay. So then the examiner says something like, you may deliver your speech whenever you're ready. And so that's just one example. Hello. When thinking about Austria, we have this beautiful landscape, we have fresh water, but that's not, no, that was bad. I'm sorry. Let's try it again. I mean, I have no notes here, so it's probably good to take some notes when you want to make a good entrance. So beautiful landscape, fresh water, but that's not no, I'm sorry. Okay. Good. Beautiful landscape and fresh water, but that's not no. Beautiful landscape and fresh water, but Austria has far more to offer, and that's why I, Maria, who owns a hotel in Kitzbühel, I want to talk today about Austria and the benefits of a holiday in Austria. Yeah, so that wasn't really good, but you see, it's quite hard to think about a good introduction. I mean, it's not really hard to think about a good one, but then just to deliver it without notes. So that's something you should keep in mind. Take notes. And then it's good and you can make a good impression, because my first impression wasn't really good. But yeah, it's summer, it's quite hot, and I'm sorry for that. Yeah, but that's it, I guess. Do we have any questions?
No, so far not.
No, that's sad. But anyhow, if you have any questions, if you want to know where I came up with this great introduction, I'm really sorry, then just ask. Or maybe that's something you should do. if you have a better introduction, I mean, the introduction with the fresh water and the beautiful landscape, I think was a good start, but not really well thought out. So if you have a good introduction for this monologue, write it in the comments, and I would be happy to read your ideas. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you for watching. It was an honor to talk to all of you, and nice evening.